What if I told you that your education might be prepaid through a government trust account, yet you still took out loans, paid interest on a debt that never should have existed? Now, in this video, we're breaking down the 1099-Q. You feel what I'm saying? The hidden education accounts under your name and whether your strawman tuition was already covered before you ever signed that FAFSA. Now, before we dive into this video, this is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. Remember to do your due diligence. Don't just trust me. Go and look for the truth yourself. All right? There's a lot of people in the community where, yes, we may teach this, but it's only so much that we can give until a person is willing to take that extra mile, okay? Thinking you're going to be able to get everything from a video and be able to apply it right away without doing your own research is the reason why you aren't getting results, okay? Number two, if you're brand new, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You dig me? Do it right now. We want to get this video to 500 likes, and we're going to keep this 1099 marathon going. Now, what is a 1099-Q? All right. A 1099-Q reports distributions from qualified education programs like 529 plans and Coverdell ESAs. Okay. It shows the money taken out of account to pay for someone's education, and it is typically sent to the beneficiary or the account owner and to the IRS. Okay. So the key terms when it comes to the 1099-Q is the payer, which is the institution or the entity that sent the funds, and the recipient, the one that is benefiting from the distribution. Now, why am I talking about the 1099-Q? Because the 1099-Q, just like all the other IRS forms, gives us some identifying data as it pertains to our loans that we pull out when we are getting prepared to go to school. Now, before we dive into that, man, I want to just talk about the aspect of student loans being one of the biggest scams known to man, okay? Because think about it, at 18 years old, they have you literally apply for 60 grand plus 100 grand for some people. All right? They have you put in this application, you get a student loan, and they expect you to pretty much pay that back. All right? And the thing is, they have you make this decision as an 18-year-old. You can't even drink. You can't even, you can't drink. All right, like your frontal lobe hasn't even developed, but now you're making a $60,000 decision. Then what happens is that messes your credit up because now you can't pay it or whatever the case may be, or you're paying it for the rest of your life. Okay, literally being in control from the start that you get out of high school. All right, this is why we're having this conversation, because what if you could flip the script? What if you can use this 1099-Q to reveal something about your student loan, pretty much what we know about loans, and be able to fight against the student loans? Now, be strategic, okay? Because what I'm about to teach today, I just want you to be strategic, okay? Be smart. Use your brain, okay? So now, obviously, if you wanted to learn more about the 1099-Q, you can come to the IRS website and you can look at the 1099-Q forms and instructions, and you can look at the instructions as it pertains to the 1099-Q, okay? And you can also be able to, you can order the form from the IRS. It's not really a point for you to order it at this point in time, but this form is pretty much laid out like this. Box 1 is the total distribution, so how much that loan was. Okay, box 2 is the earnings portion. Box 3 is the original contribution or the basis. And box 5 is the beneficiary's SSN. Okay. Now, I wanted to show you guys this so you guys get a visual representation. Typically, that bank or that program will pretty much file this. Okay, and you are supposed to get copy B. You always are going to, if it has anything to do with your loan, you need to receive documentation on it. Okay, and that will be copy B. Okay, but I don't show you this so that you can order this form and start filling it out. No, this is not what you are going to use this for. You're going to use this for to make important identifying information, okay? So back to a couple of things. There are 529 plans. 529 plans is a tax advantage savings plan that's designed to encourage saving for educational costs. They are sponsored by states or educational institutions and are authorized by Section 529 of the Internal Revenue Code, okay? So there are two main types of 529 plans: prepaid tuition plans, which allow you to prepay tuition at today's rates, typically for in-state public colleges. And then education savings plans offer a wider range of investment options, such as mutual funds. The value of the account can fluctuate based on market performance. All right. So this is a tax advantage growth account, I would assume. Then we dive into the aspect of the Coverdale Education Savings Account, which is another tax advantage savings vehicle designed to help families save and pay for qualified education expenses from elementary school all the way through higher education. And then we could talk about the ABLE account, also known as Achieving a Better Life Experience accounts, which are tax advantage savings account and investment accounts for eligible individuals with disabilities. Okay. So these programs could have potentially prepaid your tuition. It's just a matter of understanding how this applies to our situation. Now, let's just talk about this trap, all right? And what this will have to do with us or anybody that they pretty much never told this information. Now, it's more of an education trap because when you are thinking about this, it's more of like a hidden bait and switch, right? When you are born, a corporate legal entity, a straw man, is created under your name via your birth certificate. Number two, this entity is then tied to a CUSIP number, which is an identifying number that tracks securities, okay, on the securities market. And then number three, trust and bond structures are often attached to this identity to fund future public obligations, education, healthcare, the prison system, insurance. You dig what I'm saying? And how it ties to education. Your public education may already be prepaid through budgetary allocations, CAFRs, which is a comprehensive annual financial reports, or even treasury held bond accounts. Why? Because that SSN actually has value. All right. Some researchers believe that the 529 style education savings plan exists in the background, funded with public and private credit without your knowledge. So the question is, or the trap is that you go through the public education system, assuming it's free or subsidized, but when you apply for college, you fill out a FAFSA, and it actually gives consent to access and securitize your financial data. That's what the FAFSA actually does. It gives them the fiduciary ability to be able to go in and out of that trust, okay? And your promissory note, which is the student loan agreement. Remember, loan agreements aren't just an agreement. It's a security, all right? That becomes a negotiable instrument, which is then sold and pledged behind the scenes. This loan is no different from any other loan that we talk about on this channel, okay? And you are then billed monthly to repay a loan that may have already been satisfied through a hidden account or disbursement, okay? Or disbursement. And all the while, you never saw the 1099-Q that would report and identify this data to you. So here's the trap. Trap equals that hidden disbursement plus a visible loan equals double dip. They make you think that they loaned you money, but they never loaned you money. The money was already released because of the value that you brought with your promissory note, your signature, your SSN, and your birth certificate that is connected to your strawman estate. That strawman estate allows these funds to be created, okay? Because if that wasn't the case, what would be the whole point of them creating a digital version of you? What would be the whole point of them creating a birth certificate? Someone say, well, they want to identify and all that. No, like, why would you need to do that? Oh, to keep record. Why? Have you ever asked yourself that? Why do we need a birth certificate? Why do we need a number attached to our name? Why? If there is no way that we could like benefit from it. You dig what I'm saying? Because we don't need to be identified by a number. We all look different. Okay? We're human. So what would that have to really do with anything? Why would you need to attach a number to us? These are the questions that people don't ask themselves. And they look at things as if, well, this is how it's supposed to be. But do you think they was attaching numbers to our person hundreds of thousands of years ago? Thousands of years? I don't even know if we've been around for hundreds of thousands of years. But you get what I'm saying? All of my historians. You feel me? So it's always a hidden agenda behind these things. Okay? Just like the student loans. Why would they have an 18-year-old pull out 60 grand, 100 grand, make that decision? And then we end up going to school and majoring in something that doesn't even make us 60 grand a year. You dig what I'm saying? And then it prepares us for a job that we're going to be heavily taxed on and they're going to have more control over. We're going to get paid by the hour, and then we're going to be pretty much paying that student loan for the rest of our lives. We are going to be in control by that student loan debt for the rest of our lives. We're going to be continuously indebted, or at least we think we are. But that just doesn't make sense, does it? So these things get prepaid. Our straw man gives value to whatever loan agreement that we sign. Any financial institution can get value from your SSN and your straw man. Okay? And then someone will say, well, if this is the case, like, why do we have to pay people and this, that, and the third? Why do you take money as a business owner? Because I'm not a financial institution that can monetize those securities. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not asking you for a loan. I'm not telling you to sign a loan agreement. So yes, I am not a financial institution in the business of loaning money. Okay? And if I was to loan you money, I would loan you actual money. And yes, I would expect you to pay me back, because I'm not going to securitize it. I'm not going to make money off of your contract with me. I couldn't. I don't need to get in a loan with you in order to participate in commerce like the bank does. Do you see where you are actually more valuable to the bank than they tell you? Just like you're more valuable to that financial institution than they are to you. They're selling you on the fact that if you come here, you'll potentially get a good job. But the reality is yes, you may potentially get a good job, but you're going to become a great person at the job because they teach you how to be a good person at the job. Now, I don't want to make this about student loans and jobs and careers and college and this, that, and the third, but ultimately, there's always some things that you have to check, all right? So, if every U.S. citizen has a straw man that was created at birth, okay, and the entity and this entity is tied to trust and prepaid accounts managed by the government, these prepaid funds are already set aside for your public education, because education is also a fundamental right. Okay? Yet we are told to take out student loans, sign promissory notes, and go into debt to attend school for them to teach us. Okay? But education is YouTube University. We can say it's free, whatever the case may be, but somebody's paying, all right? Like YouTube pays me to make educational videos, okay? Now, the question that you will ask is, where did the original 1099-Q go? Is there a way that I can be able to attain that? So here's the other aspect, thinking about those hidden payouts in the trust accounting. Could a 1099-Q have been filed without your knowledge under your SSN is one question that you should ask. Because if it has, that can mean something. Number two, could the Treasury, Department of Education, or a loan servicer be receiving prepaid funds behind the scenes, then billing you anyway? This is where you could claim that there is a potential double payment, one through a public loan, another through a hidden trust disbursement. They could be getting paid through the trust, and they could be getting paid through you paying them. You get what I'm saying? See, they'll get their money on the public, and they also get their money on the private. So if you ever try to challenge a student loan, and this is why they're able to do these loan forgiveness programs and take X amount of dollars out of nowhere. And some of y'all's loans started triggering as soon as Trump got in office. You dig what I'm saying? Some of y'all's did. Some of y'all's credit is affected because out of nowhere, they started asking for the payments and you got a couple of lates. But if you ever got in a position where you didn't want to pay that student loan, you can ask them for the 1099-Q. But let's not get too crazy, okay? Now, let's talk about how this ties into a discharge aspect, okay? And we'll just call this a theory, all right? because I don't want y'all to jump over the edge when I break this down to you guys. Okay, I want you guys to have a solid argument that has legal merit. You feel what I'm saying? So how this ties into discharging. Okay, so this is where, for my remedy seekers and my private banking strategists, start pulling the receipts. So here's the step-by-step logic. The promissory note you signed was monetized. Hear me when I say that. It created the credit that funded the loan. Do you gather that? Everything that you sign using your SSN can be monetized. All right. Number two, in some cases, the 1099-Q may have been filed showing an education disbursement on your behalf. That 1099-Q could have gone to a school, servicer, or even a third-party debt buyer, and the IRS has record even if you don't. So here's the argument to that. If the government or lender already received a distribution, the loan should be considered satisfied or offset. Because if you guys receive the money for a loan that you claim I am supposed to pay back, it is already satisfied. You forfeit your ability to collect on the debt. Well, they say, well, we don't have to tell you that. Well, that would be very contradictory, because if the law says that I can ask for it, and your argument is that where in the law says that I have to, that it's illegal, well, that very section where it says I can ask for the accounting and the documentary evidence about my loan says that it is a demand. And if you don't give it to me, it's a violation of commercial law. But obviously it's not that simple. It's not just like one law that you can go to and says, well, they can't do this. You get what I'm saying? It's broken down into a couple of laws. All right. Now, if they are still billing you after it's satisfied and offset, they are committing constructive fraud by withholding the true origin of funding. If I'm under the assumption that you loaned me money and it wasn't the case, there's no meeting in the minds. I'm repeating the same things. It doesn't matter what it is, because it applies to every single thing. Stop letting these lawyers play semantics with you and play with your head and say, well, we don't got to tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not going to hold up in court. It's just like saying, hey, you know, I'll just put it like this. If you can't prove it, what you want me to do? If you can't make this an even, fair, equitable conversation, so don't play semantics with me. You feel what I'm saying? Now, you could potentially build an administrative record using a 4506T to pull the 1099s reporting under your SSN. This is the IRS transcript, form 4506. The form 4506. You can use this to be able to request information on your SSN, pretty much audit your SSN. Okay, anything that is tied to the IRS. You can also send a conditional acceptance asking if a 1099-Q was used to fund the loan, which is also you asking for accounting, which under UCC 9-210 you can ask for. Okay? And you can also send a Freedom of Information Act request to the Department of Education to uncover internal accounting. Now, why would they have things like this in place if you couldn't ask for it? So don't let someone say, well, we don't have to give it to you, because that will be constructive fraud. Why wouldn't you give me or disclose information to me that I need to know? Because if you guys told me you loaned me money, but you never loaned me money, that is information I should know. I should know that I have brought value to this loan. And you should be telling me what value you're bringing, because you're not bringing the value of the school. The school is bringing that value. You know what I'm saying? If you want to say that school has a value. All right. Now, you can tie it with other forms like the 1099A. Was your loan acquired or abandoned? We all know what the 1099A is, which is the acquisition and abandonment. We can also talk about the 1099 OID. Was there a discount or offset through a treasury instrument? Did they sell it for less? If there's a 1099 OID, that means there was an OID event. That means that they sold it some way, shape, or form. So technically, you should only pay part of whatever is left. And the 1099C, did they cancel or write off the debt behind your back? If it's charged off, anything over $600, you technically can charge it off using the 1099C. The IRS would disburse them back. These are things that are put in place for them. Why wouldn't it be put in place for you? Why wouldn't this be a benefit to you? Why would they be able to still do this and still come after you for the debt? That wouldn't even be fair. It wouldn't be equitable. All right. Oh, the world isn't fair. Yes, absolutely. It's fair because it's not fair because obviously when you know less, yes, someone can take advantage of you and nobody will bat an eye. But when you do know the same as the same person, then you have a right to uphold the fairness. You get what I'm saying? But you have to do it the proper way and using legal merit. So together, these can help you build a case that the obligation was already discharged or settled and the monthly payments are unlawful enrichment. Okay? Because unlawful enrichment is illegal. Okay? It's illegal. And what is unjust enrichment? And I can do a whole video on this in May, probably next week. But unjust enrichment is a common law principle that says that one party shouldn't unfairly benefit at another person's expense without compensating them. Even though it's not codified, like you won't see an unjust enrichment code in a single statute, but it is enforceable through claims in civil court and often paired with a constructive trust, quantum merit, restitution claims, and equitable estoppel. All right. And it can be illegal, depending on the context. Like if it has anything to do with contracts or services rendered without payment, if it has anything to do with consumer law or debt collection, if it has anything to do with banking and finances, and if a lender is paid twice and then still tries to collect, it can be seen as unjust enrichment. While it's not a criminal offense, but it opens the door for equitable relief or offset claims. And then we can also talk about property and foreclosure. Okay? Someone would say, well, there's no case law, whatever the case may be. And I can do a whole separate video about this. But if a court often cites unjust enrichment as a valid cause of action when one party received the benefit, which would be them being able to sell it, make money, this, that, and the third. And your benefit was an education that technically doesn't really benefit you that much. But they're able to make 10 times the benefit that you're getting. Number two, the benefit was at the plaintiff's expense. Okay? And this is best when you are initiating it. And it would be unjust for the recipient to retain it without paying. Okay? So there's many cases that you can pull and many arguments and angles that you can come using a 1099-Q, unjust enrichment, the fact that they are double collecting, the fact that they've already got paid, so they've lost their ability or forfeited their ability to make money. The fact that they sold the contract means that they probably don't even own it. Okay? Well, we have servicer rights. Well, that doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying? Because some cases they may have servicer rights, but that doesn't mean that y'all will have to prove that you still hold the title and can enforce it. I don't want to hear what you're saying to me. I want you to prove it. You dig what I'm saying? So let's just real quick talk about the strategic steps, and then we'll hop off. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit subscribe. Thank you guys for watching it. 25 minutes in the video. Thank y'all once again. So real quick, you want to request that IRS wage and income transcript, which is the form 4506T. Okay, you want to look for the 1099-Q or the AC filings under your SSN. Okay. Number two, you want to investigate who the issuer was if any 1099-Q appears. Probably is going to be the financial institution that is connected to the Department of Education or that school. You want to compare loan disbursement dates with any reported distributions. Okay, so if you apply for this loan when you was 18 years old, you want to look around that time. And you want to consider using affidavits of inquiry or conditional acceptance to ask servicers if a prepaid account was used to fund your education before the loan was initiated. Asking them for this is not wrong, and they are required to give this information to you, according to the UCC, according to the USC, the Truth in Lending Act, according to the 9-210, according to Article 9 of the entire Article 9 for secure transactions. You dig what I'm saying? So again, they could try to fight you all you want on whether or not they should give this to you or not. But if it pertains to something that it should be necessary, informed to you, because contracts require disclosure. And if I'm making it about the contract, they must adhere to it. All right. Now, again, everything I'm talking about is for educational and informational purposes only. I just want to bring the information to you. You guys do with it whatever you want. OK. Discharging debt or even challenging debt does involve risk, and you have to be willing to accept that. Don't be afraid to discuss this with, legal attorney or any financial professionals. Consult a tax professional too. Okay. Don't just go and try to do this on your own. When you fail, and if you decide to do it on your own and you fail, don't look at me because I told you what to do. I told you to go do the research yourself, and this is only for educational purposes only. Don't look at me and say, oh, Nicholas told me to do this. Because I do talk to some people and they say, well, I've watched this person, I watched that person, did it, it didn't work. And they're blaming that person. Don't get mad at the messenger. Get mad at yourself for not taking accountability and doing your due diligence and accepting the risk. If you plan on doing this, yes, there are risks involved. Trust me, you're going against the grain. It's a part of it. But the reward is much better when it actually works, okay? So if you believe you were tricked into paying for something your straw man already covered, comment truth over tuition in the comment section down below. Remember, if you want to learn more about this, down below I also have the school community. The school community, the Fund Yourself Academy. All right, you can get in there for 7 days for free and be able to tap in and watch it on and gather the information on a consistent basis and be a part of a community that is doing this. Okay, but also at the same time, I upload templates, new information to the school community, and I'm well connected with everybody in the school community. So tap into the school community. Every now and again, you can shoot me a DM in the school community about your particular situation. People that are part of the school community so often get discounts to any of my other services that I offer. So tap into the school community. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. Okay. Number 2, make sure to check out the application down below if you want to work with me directly. If it's about credit, if it's about funding, if it's about discharging your debt, tap in. Okay. Now, obviously, the discharging debt thing, tap into the school. But if you do want to work with me one-on-one, tap in. All right. It is a premium coaching experience. So do not hit that button if you're going to ask me 1,000,001 questions over the phone. All right. You probably won't even talk to me depending on your response. All right. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Remember to like the video. Let's get this video to 500 likes because I'm going to be covering 1099s all week. So if you want to be a part of that 1099 marathon, let's go. Turn on that post notification. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching once again, and I'll see you in the next one. This video is sponsored by the Fund Yourself Academy. My step-by-step system designed to help you fix your credit, get funding, and build real financial freedom from scratch. If you're tired of feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck, this is where it changes. Inside the Academy, I break down everything from consumer law secrets that they don't teach in school to how to remove negative items and boost your score, get access to business funding, and start building multiple income streams online. Whether you're just starting out or ready to level up your game and get the bag, this is your playbook. We've got tools, templates, dispute letters, mentorship calls, private community access, and an exact roadmap I use to leave my 9-to-5 and create time freedom. But only for a limited time, you can get access to the Fund Yourself Academy on a free trial basis for the next 7 days. And then after that, you pay less than $1 a day at $27 a month, if you like it. No fluff, just facts and just freedom. Go to thefundyourselfacademy.com or hit the link in the description to join now, because nobody's coming to save you, but you can fund yourself.